Hello, everyone, and welcome into B&T Sportstalk show. I'm your boy T, back on another. Man, what's up with my chair? It keeps getting lower and lower. Back on another wonderful Sunday evening to go over everything in the great world of sports. We got some NFL to cover. NBA, we'll talk about our sorry NBA teams. Well, mine's is sorry.
Hold on, no. We're almost there. Not there yet, though.
Talk about some of the NFL games this week. We got some good games and some not so good games, and we're starting to see who good and who ain't. So definitely get into that. If this is your first time listening to us, thanks for dropping by. Go ahead and give us a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. We appreciate it. B, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Just landed in Hawaii yesterday, so nice 80 degrees right now in December. Can't beat that right now. I know you were telling me it's like 40 degrees in where you're at right
40,
now.
50, yep. Whatever.
So I'm gonna enjoy this until I have to go back to the freezing Bay Area here. But for now, I'm doing good, man. Good to be back at the second home here. So really enjoying it.
All right. Well, B's enjoying the wonderful views and weather of Hawaii. We can only wish that we were there. But
you know what? All the viewers today, you guys were with me here in spirit in Hawaii. So turn your heaters on hella hot, like turn it up to 80 degrees. You'll feel that warm weather that I've got right now.
That's just uncomfortable at that point. You're telling everybody to burn themselves out of their home.
No, okay, hold on. I didn't say burn. I just said it's hot. I didn't say go touch the furnace. I just said turn the heater on. What up, Papa J? Aloha to you too, man. Glad to have you back in the chat.
Oh man, well, let's hop into it. Usually, what we do is we go through our home teams as we're monitoring the Charger KC game, which is a big game. Looks like
Justin
Herbert's gone down. Man, he hurt his leg a little earlier in the game. Looks like he got hit for a second time, and
Heineke.
They are warming up the Heineken. They're warming up this backup quarterback. Heineke, we'll see what's going on, but this doesn't look good at all.
Come on, man. Let's talk about y'all's dumpster fire team named the Oakland Raiders.
They're not in Oakland anymore, so don't blame Oakland. Blame Las Vegas. Thank you.
Las Vegas. My bad.
All right. So, the Las Vegas Raiders are doing what they should be doing. That's tanking, my friend. They should not be winning games at this point. It's all about getting that top pick, getting the best talent you can, and moving forward. They took on Tampa Bay, who really has been a good team, I think, throughout most of the season and has lost a lot of really close games. And Tampa Bay really needed an opportunity to get some wins behind them in order to move forward. And that's what they've been doing. I think they at one point were they like 4-6?
They've been around 500 all
they've been
year.
struggling, but this was their opportunity. They had a couple of soft teams they ran into. I think they played the Panthers last week. They got the Raiders this week.
They struggled with the Panthers.
They did. But although the Panthers have been surprising some people late in the season, they're one of those teams who have just decided, you know what, we're going to show up and play for no real reason, and giving people all sorts of fits. Ask Philly. They got the job done. The Raiders, not a whole lot to speak of other than, like I said, there's no reason to win these games. We got some Desmond Ritter got in there. There isn't a lot to discuss other than I think, since McCormick, who actually I think played the last game, actually looked pretty good. They're without a couple of their running backs. Zamir White has been out for a while now. Mayer and Myers, the two tight ends, have been the most productive players Mayer and Bowers have been the two most productive. The two tight ends have been extremely productive in the passing game. So that's definitely been a big plus for the Raiders. But this is the same old story. Played a little bit of defense, turned the ball over a few times, and just didn't have the offensive output to keep up or match what the Bucs are doing. So not a whole lot to say about this game other than I think the Raiders at this point are the top draft pick. They're at the bottom of the heap of the NFL. They need to maintain that. I know I wish I could say that I want them to go out there and beat the Jaguars, but honestly, I think it's better suited for them if they can come out of this with the top pick, because I think that's going to be a whole lot more valuable than a couple of wins at the end of the season. Although I'm sure they would love to have a morale boost as a team, but if we're talking about ownership and management there, It's time to tank, baby. Here comes
Well,
Desmond Ritter.
they're already doing that, so I don't think you have much to worry about
Yeah,
tanking wise. But the Raiders are going to be in such a bad position with that first pick because they technically they need to use that first pick if they really wanted to, or do they go out and trade it for a high caliber player? But
they
they
could.
have so many things that they need to try to figure out that maybe using that first round, that first overall pick may be a good idea. But you're looking at I can't. This Sanders,
Shador.
DeJour,
Shador.
Shador Sanders. You're looking at him to be possibly, I know, Dejon Mustard. I don't know. I was getting there. Shador Sanders here. He's looking to be the number one pick, but is he really worth the number one pick? I'm going to tell you this. No, I don't think so. You say that, and Papa J called your Raiders the relocators. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, they've done it a few times. They went to Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, and then to Vegas. So yeah, they've moved around quite a bit for an organization. Yeah.
Papa J says the Raiders need Deebo Samuels on their team. I don't think he's going to fit well in that offense.
No.
He's made for quick slants, screen passes, all of that. That's not the Raiders' offense. It's not going to work. I mean, realistically, we don't know what kind of offense the Raiders are running, to be honest with you, because we haven't seen it. But I think you really need to start looking on how you work in Brock Bowers into that. I'm not saying Brock Bowers needs to be the number one target, but he's working like that there. So you're gonna have to start filling some holes with that there. Honestly, man, it's got to start with the quarterback. I just don't think Sanders is going to be the way to go to kind of fix that.
Do you think But what do you think about Sanders going in the first round? Do you think he's at least a first round quarterback?
I think he's a first round quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, I'm lying to you guys. I think he's a piece of crap. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. All right, I'll just put it like that.
God damn, man! Like you
my bad. I played you guys for too long.
I've watched Shador play, and I don't think he's terrible, but he does struggle against good teams, and that's the one thing that I have seen. And whenever they're playing against top tier talent, he's not the same guy. And so whenever they're playing, Hobo State, University, they're out there. He out there looking like a machine. But whenever they start playing better teams, he kind of. I'm not saying he dwindles. He certainly is putting the effort out there, but he's just not as prolific, I guess we'll call it, as he is in some of the other games. So yeah,
honestly,
I agree with that.
I think they may want to look at Travis Hunter as their number one pick.
That I do like that idea.
That may not be a bad idea because you can fill two positions with this guy if you needed to. Great route runner, great receiver, a hell of a ball hawk on defense. I enjoy watching him play. I really do. I think he should be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy candidate this year. I think that's a player that you bring into your organization that can maybe help upstart this. You're going to have to go through the NFL to find a quarterback, to be honest. I don't think you go drafting because then you really put yourself backwards into trying to get caught up with the teams here. So I think you just find a quarterback and kind of build through the draft there. I think Travis Hunter is the best way to go if you're the Raiders.
Yeah, and there are some younger backups that might fall there. We saw what happened with who's the kid with the Panthers?
Bryce Young.
Thank you.
Andy Dalton.
Bryce Young with the Andy Dalton thing. We saw what happened with Joe Flacco and
Anthony Richardson.
So there are some guys out there that maybe are around the peripherals that you can go out and grab that are possibly better than anything that's on your roster right now. You look at what the Vikings did with Sam Darnold, and you start to think, well, where can you find something like that? Even though the Vikings are much light years ahead of the Raiders as far as talent, especially offensively, you still kind of look at situations like that and say, okay, well, where can we find a quarterback who has has high pedigree, and can still sling it, and has that, can help our team grow or at least create a stopgap before we find that, young quarterback stud that we want to ride out for the next 5 to 7 years.
You know what I would push for is Kirk Cousins.
You think he's
Because
gonna leave
I think,
again?
but I
What?
think because you have Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
in
I
Atlanta,
agree.
so you're at the point where you're probably going to run with him. Kirk Cousins not going to want to be a backup. I take on that contract and bring on Kirk Cousins as my as a starting quarterback. It's
Yeah.
not a bad option. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. He's very statuesque. He's a guy that is really up and down. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Or you run it with Aiden O'Connell, or you run a whole season with AOC.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
the
I would
worst
say
that's going to happen?
I would say keep AOC and see if you can find another veteran to throw back there. Not Gardner Minshew though. Somebody that actually has some starts under their belt.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, hell no. Are you kidding me? Why is there is the PED doctor out of business? Is that why we're bringing him back? Like what is going on?
Probably.
No, we're not bringing that guy back to Vegas. Not at all. Yeah, so I think there are some options they could look at. I know last year we talked a little bit about Dobbs, and so there are some options there, and hopefully the Raiders do their due diligence and go through that. But knowing the Raiders, there is a chance, like you said, that they fall in love with Shadir Sanders and just draft him as their first pick, man.
Oh God, as a Raider fan, you may want to throw up.
I know, but I've seen their decisions in the past, and sometimes they can get if Mark Davis is a part of that decision making process, then there's a chance, right? So
hopefully not.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Nah, we'd be better off.
He's so bad. Dallas don't even want to start him.
Right, we'd be better with
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, we'd be better off with Justin Fields. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
Who can't really crack who's kind of only in on gimmick plays, but now that the
Tanner Mordecai.
Who's that?
Tanner Mordecai's coming out of college. He's actually a pretty damn good quarterback.
What team does he play for? Because I can't remember names when college.
Shit, I can't remember. I'm looking it up right
now. Okay, all right, you help me out.
Right now.
But with the playoff coming up, that's definitely something to watch for. I will definitely be watching the 12-team playoff, and I will be looking at quarterbacks very, very, very closely. Because
hey, can we talk about that real quick?
Because did you watch the SEC championship?
Oh Jesus Christ! Tanner Mordecai's a backup for the Niners. He's the fourth. No, he's the fourth option on the bench.
Mordecai. I should have known when you told me the name.
I know, right? You should have just figured that one out real quick. Okay. We're gonna get a little off track here because I've been having these spirited debates with everybody about how they go about the 12-team conference or 12-team pick. And there's teams that are left out that won conference championships and aren't getting in. Like Army won their conference. I can't think of it. Marshall. It was Marshall that won a conference championship, but they're not getting in. And so, like, the only question I have with that is, what's the point of having a conference championship if you're not going to play? Like, I get it. The skill level is not going to be there, the talent. But what are these schools playing for at that point?
Well, I guess
you know what I'm saying?
How do you include everybody? I mean, they've expanded this thing a couple of times. Does college want to get to the point to where they are very similar to what we see with March Madness, where we're pushing this thing out to, because we're at 12 teams right now. So the next step is we move to, what's the next tier? 16 or it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger. So it's kind of like, where do you stop? And honestly, if college football can support it and it's gonna make more money, then I think over time, you will see you will see more teams have a chance.
The only thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see the same teams over and over playing for a national championship. You know what I'm saying? But that's the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah, right.
Some of the teams that are in this playoff are all from one conference.
With the consolidation of the conferences, I think it's kind of tough for it to be any other way, right? Because now you've got these huge conferences with these big teams, these big D1 teams, and there really isn't a lot of room for other folks, and the quote unquote strength of schedule if I play in one of those conferences, I've already got the highest strength of schedule off the bat before I even play a game.
Here are the teams. You got Oregon number 1.
All right.
Georgia number 2. Boise State number 3. I think that's good for them. Number 4, Arizona State. So those are all the Power 4 conference winners, right?
Arizona State, yep.
Okay. This is where shit gets really weird. 5, Texas. They're from the SEC. Number 6 is
Penn State.
Big Ten. Number 7 is Notre Dame, who's independent.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
You got to be in a conference if you're going to qualify for this.
Seriously,
because then you could just go play whoever.
Right.
And then be qualified. Where's number 7 or number 8? Number 8 is Ohio State, Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Number 9, Tennessee, SEC. Mm-hmm. Number 10, Indiana, Big Ten. 11, SMU, ACC, and number 12, or who am I missing? Clemson, SEC. So when you look at it, let's see, Big Ten schools, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 12, right?
Yeah.
SEC sent 1, 2, I think 2.
SEC,
3.
yeah. SEC sent Georgia, Clemson.
Majority of it is between two conferences.
Yeah.
Like, how's that balanced?
But that's the thing, is the conferences aren't balanced, because that's the point of them all joining together, right? Is to bring the money in. So the fact that there's no real structure around how these conferences are set up, unlike other professional sports, right? Where there's a certain amount of teams per conference, they're separated by region, and it sort of has that structure built in. In college, it doesn't really matter. You just join one of these conferences. There could be 10 teams, there could be 12 teams, and that's it. So there's no way to really balance it out.
The ACC has 17 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
So they really got to try to find a way to structure this to really get the best teams playing for a championship. My thing is you pick 8 conferences, you go 8 conference winners, and then you got 4 open bids, right. and to make it real interesting. At that point, are the drop-offs big? Yeah, they're big. Like, is Army going to compete? Maybe not, but we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're going to compete or not, and they'll never get the opportunity because they're not going to play in it. So it's there. Let's get caught up in the chat because Papa J got a lot for us here. Justin Fields is not a bad idea because we all know Russell Wilson is now the starter.
Like, he's been flinging it.
Yeah. He flung it all day against the Browns today.
Yeah, he was killing them. Yeah, for sure.
We got to look up this Tanner Mordecai. Papa J, we may have to learn from you on this here. So we'll have to look up Tanner Mordecai here, yeah. And then Papa J, you will be learning college football from us because we will be watching this college football playoff here. Yeah. So you'll be definitely learning from us.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other team that finally got their ish together. The Niners.
Yeah.
Put a whooping to the Bears today.
Beat down. Oof, I thought the Bears were going to come out with a little bit more effort, but I guess I made the mistake of forgetting that their offensive line is dog water. It's garbage.
I made the mistake. I'm the one who picked them.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
Jesus.
Their offensive line is trash. And you put that up against one of the better defensive lines in the NFL, and you get, 13-38. That's what you get. Caleb Martin was, doing his best, but 17 for 23, 134, and 2 TDs. But it wasn't a good game. The Niners
this time running for his life.
He did. The Niners put the rap on him. And on the other end, the Niners went berserk offensively. This was one of their better offensive games of the entire season. Brock Purdy, an efficient 20 for 25, 325, and 2 TDs. Kittle came in, had his Wheaties, went for $151. Ridiculous. And then Jennings, who has really, in my opinion, put himself at the forefront of this wide receiver core for the Niners. And I'm saying that even if Brandon Ayuk returns, because Brandon Ayuk, even when healthy, did not seem like the player that we thought he would be. But Jennings, on the other hand, has made play after play after play after play and has been a premier target for the 49ers, and Deebo Samuels continues to trail off into the night.
Yeah, you would have figured this would be a game for him to get caught up, and no, not at all.
And I think it's the gimmicky part of how they use him in their system. And I don't know, man. We talked about this earlier, but this might be that time. It's probably too late. But this is the opportunity where you think about making different moves with your wide receiver core. And I'm curious if Deebo Samuel is still a part of that. I think he'd be a great player. He's still a great player, but he might be a great player somewhere else. I don't know if he's necessarily what the Niners need in order to move their offense to that next level.
Yeah, you would like. I'm sorry, I got stuck on words here because I'm watching Herbert back in the game.
Yeah, he made it. He's alive.
It's good. It's good that George Kittle said something because he finally got the ball today. They basically left him MIA over the last few games here, and you got to get that guy going. He's the one of the top tight ends in the league here, so you include him. But what hurts the Niners the most is they may lose Garendo. Garendo got hurt towards the end of the game. Sheesh. And it's funny, I was watching the game with my friends, and they were like, why are the starters still in at this point?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy got WWE'd into the turf earlier today. You can't afford to be getting guys injured, especially if you're trying to make a last-gasp effort on making the playoffs. And now it's getting tighter and tighter because the Seahawks won. They did not – you could not afford the Seahawks to win. And now that it's almost lights out for the Niners. I don't think they're going to find a way to get into this postseason here. So maybe it's time to say, hey, maybe we put ourselves in a position to get some sort of a decent draft pick and kind of just let this season go at this point.
Well, like I said, they really have to improve the wide receiver core, in my opinion. Like they really, I mean, Brandon Ayuk, maybe he comes back and could be a force. But if there's a trade to be made or there are other players that come across this season, I think the 49ers should be the first in line to try to get a better wide receiver into their wide receiver corps. Because, as much as I know a lot of Niners fans have hung their hats on Brandon Ayuk and the fact that he showed so much improvement last year and then ended up getting paid, which is great. But unfortunately, we never saw that come to fruition. And what you're looking for is a guy that can, in one-on-one situations, or really be your go-to number one receiver. And we just have not seen that. And I'll give you a great example. Kansas City it was in the same predicament, right? They lost Hollywood Brown early, right? He's gone. They lost what's his name? I can't think of the name. Rishi Rice. They lost Rishi Rice early, right? They lost him. They lost Pacheco. They didn't have much offense to go with. They bring up DeAndre Hopkins, and he after a game immediately starts to become a possession receiver. He's a guy that's catching 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards. Doesn't have to make huge plays, but is a receiver that you can throw the ball to him. He can get open and he can catch. And that's just I don't know if the Niners necessarily have that. It's great to see that they're hitting the tight end. But it looks like Jawan Jennings outside, out of all their receivers has been their number one go-to. And I think they got to find a way to fortify that, man. I mean, if you're the top tier team, it's time to go get some top tier talent.
They better start chasing it pretty damn soon. Otherwise, they're going to be out of this. Hey, I got to charge my light. So you continue because I'm fading into the dark.
All right, as B fades into the dark. Well, one player I think that might be out there. We're watching the Jets nosedive into the ground. Like a plane, a jet. No, the jet is nosediving into the ground, and their season is pretty much kaput. A player like Devontae Adams may be up for grabs. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do at the end of the season. Is he going to retire? Is he going to stay? I mean, coming back and playing a full season after the long recovery of an injury from the previous season and having it in with they're win like 3 games. Does Devontae Adams still want to stay there? So that might be a big name player that, even though he's towards the tail end of his career, can act as a possession receiver that can get open for the 49ers and Brock Purdy. That's a guy that maybe the 49ers can keep an eye on. Plays like that, things like that. I think you've got to look to make your offense prolific. I mean, Brock Purdy is only getting better. I don't think he's getting worse. He's shown with not as many targets this year that he can still get the ball out. And so why not Go get a premier wide receiver if possible, to put out there on the field, regardless of if you've, I know you've paid Brendan Ayuk all the money, but at the end of the day, it's about production. So we'll see.
Let's see, Papa J. I don't know if we got caught up with that. Kyle needs to stop looking at the past and look forward. The team you saw tonight is not the team that has been playing all year long. The team tonight has been sitting on the bench all year long, but at this point, it's too late for that there. But, let me ask you this, T. With the play that we saw from Brock Purdy today, the question is starting to come: is this contract extension?
Oh, they got to pay him.
Well, yeah, I know, but how much are you paying him?
Oh, he's going to get the top dollar.
Is he worth it?
Yeah.
60 mil.
Yeah, the man's been in the playoffs every freaking year. He played in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, there are very few. Look at what Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins got paid, right? Who else got paid? Lawrence got paid. Trevor Lawrence got paid, right? Dak Prescott got paid, or at least got extended, right? These are all guys that are making a butt ton of money, and they haven't done crap diddly squat. Especially Trevor Lawrence and especially Dak Prescott. So, and I guess we could just throw Kirk Cousins in there too, really, because their team is on its way out of the playoffs as well. So, if you really want to think about it, you can't even blink at it. Not only does Brock Purdy have a better resume as far as wins and losses, but this season, he's better than the guys I just talked about. Now, Dak Prescott did hurt himself, right? Trevor Lawrence got hurt, but it was towards the end of the season. You've got Kirk Cousins, who's just kind of, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing great one week and completely disappearing the next. But yeah, man, Brock Purdy is going to get paid. He's going to get paid at the top of the quarterback class.
Papa J says absolutely worth 65 mil or more. Papa J, what price tag are you putting on Brock Purdy right now? That's what I want to know. I want to know what people are putting Brock Purdy as price tag.
I'm gonna look it up. So highest QB salary, and it's gonna be bigger than that.
Here's what I'm looking. You're looking at $30 million a year, and you're gonna have to do that because you're gonna have to keep players around him too. 30 mil. If you sign him to this max deal, you don't have anything for anyone going forward here, and they're not the team that's gonna be the one that spends more than the cap, to say the least.
They might as well give Brock Purdy away if they offer him $30 million. And I'll tell you why. Because they just offered Brendan Ayuk $30 million. Seriously. Yeah. They're gonna have to pay him. There's no way to avoid it. Dak Prescott's 4-year extension was $240 million, 60 mil per year average. You're not getting away. It has to be more than that number.
That's gonna be crazy.
It is crazy. It is, but it's true though, right? Like, you're not gonna be able to walk away from the table in the negotiation with Brock Purdy's his agent, and try to sell him on $30 million. Are you freaking kidding me? You just paid a wide receiver that had one good season $30 million.
Well, technically, Brock Purdy hasn't even seen $1 million period, because remember, he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Right.
So that's a big jump in numbers.
Yeah, but he deserves it. He deserves it. He outplayed his contract. And if I'm an agent, that's the first thing I'm saying. This guy outplayed his contract. He gave you 3 good years of you paying him zero, basically, by NFL terms. You didn't pay him anything. They were probably paying him, what, $800,000, maybe $1 million, if that.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know, man. 65 mil is a high number.
But that's the number. And I think that now, it's going to be between 60 and 65 million. It has to be. There's no way the Niners can avoid this. And if they don't think they can pay him, they got to trade him.
Papa J says Niners are going to want to pay him 45. His agent will say 65, but he will settle at 55. Dude, this is going to be the most intriguing negotiation for a contract for a quarterback in a very long time. Very long time.
I'll say it like this. You can negotiate with a lot of positions in the NFL. You cannot negotiate with quarterbacks. You can't. If you look at the history of it, from Joe Burrow getting paid to Trevor Lawrence, all the people I mentioned, none of them took a pay cut. Each contract was higher and higher and higher. So there's no quarterback, no good quarterback out there that's taking a pay cut right now. None of them. So
that's such a scary thought.
Running backs, sure. You could say, you know what, we're going to franchise you. Wide receivers, yeah, maybe. And and you're not doing the 1 year thing anymore because of what Kirk Cousins did to the Vikings, and then what was it, the Redskins? Was the Redskins before that, where he got paid? I mean, paid. Yeah. His 1 year contract was like 60, what was it, like $50-60 million? So you're not doing that because you're going to have to pay him anyway. So what's the point? You're not going to put him on a 1 year franchise deal for a quarterback. It's going to cost more than 1 year of a long-term contract. So
I just can't. I can't see that. I can't see that money being shelled out to him like that, especially when they're. The thing is
I just told you Trevor Lawrence was making.
I know. I get that. I get that. Papa J says if somehow he pulls off going to the wild card, he's definitely getting 65 or more. It's not going to be so much him that gets him to the wild card. It's going to be the help from the other teams that gets him into the wild card because they are trailing most of the division behind that. So that they need the help there for that. But look. 65 mil, 45 mil, 55 mil. This is going to be one of the most intriguing contract negotiations that we see going into the offseason. And who knows? They may not even sign him at all because he still has 1 year on that rookie deal. So it's either extend him now or wait until next year is what you can do. The Niners do have a little bit of leverage here. But all I'm saying, man, is I don't know.
They got to make it happen, my friend, because
I get it. They make it happen, but it's going to be interesting to say. 65 mil, man.
Yeah, disgruntled quarterbacks, no. Not only that, but if I'm the player, there is no way I want to go into a lame duck season. I could get injured. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to
get that money now.
I would be trying to play that thing harsh. Like, you got to trade me or pay me. That's it. Like, there's no way I'm coming to that table after going to a freaking Super Bowl, an NFC championship game, and my numbers are good, and I'm carrying your team. Your wide receiver that you just paid can't even play anymore, and you go try to shortchange me? No, thank you, sir. There are 30 other teams or 31 other teams I could get on the phone with, and I could get a contract because there are guys getting paid right now that have no business getting paid.
What's the ceiling for him, would you say?
I would say if he gets the best of the best, it's going to be, like you said, right around that 65, maybe even 67. I think that's the top number.
Stats are not set up on what other teams do. You don't see Joe Montana start saying he made it to the Super Bowl, but because another team lost, in my opinion. But then again, Joe Montana played in an era where they weren't making that kind of money either.
Sure weren't.
Because imagine if Joe Montana was doing what he was doing now, back then now, and the money he could have made.
Yeah.
Dude, Tom Brady was just on the cusp of making that kind of money. He was just, a little later on in his career here. I think you're going to see that it would happen with those kind of players, but man, it's just I can't see 65. I'm sorry, T. I really can't, man. I see between 35 and 40. That's all I'm saying, man. That's what I see.
That's not happening, man. You're gonna pay him Tyreek Hill money?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you're not. You're not. Because just like anything else in business, you play what the market offers. You don't pay less than you get paid what the market says you get paid. The market says that he's going to get paid over $60 million.
That's so gross to even fucking think about.
It's true, man. It's true. Like you get paid at market value. That's everything in life. You get paid at market value. And if you get paid less than market value, then you've made a mistake. No, right? We all got jobs. We all make money. We don't go into job interviews and be like, yeah, I'll work for $12 an hour. No! We go in there saying, I've got experience. I can do this. I can do that. I'm going to go for a job that I get paid for what I know how to do, right? Like, it's no different for them. You got to go in looking for market value. That's what it is. And he would have the worst agent alive if he walks away with a $35-40 million contract. He'd have the worst. His agent would get fired immediately.
Well, let's see how that plays out there, because we'll see. Okay, here, Papa J's got a question for us. Let me ask you this. Considering all the injuries that have happened, what other quarterback in the NFL would have made a drastic difference in the 49ers season record at this point? Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you
and how
right
much?
now.
And he's got some weirdo $400 million contract.
Yeah, but has he earned it though?
Yeah, of course, he's won the
But
Super
that's
Bowls.
that's what I'm saying. There's so Patrick Mahomes is a guy like that. I think if you're talking about all the healthy players that the Niners had, I think any quarterback fits the system because all you got to do is just get him the damn ball.
Well, not really, because Garoppolo's gone.
Papa J says, "I'm telling you, in 2 years, $65 million a year is going to be minimum wage,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
gross to
it'll
even
be
think about,
for a
man."
top quarterback probably.
Ugh, God, can you imagine guys like I don't know Matthew Stafford at the age of 43 making 65 a year just because he's a veteran?
Maybe, I don't know, man. But
Ridiculous.
The NFL is not making any less money this year, so these guys are going to get paid.
Well, yeah, because we're having to stream everything to watch the damn games and
You
then
got
pay
to
an arm
pay.
and a leg for freaking Sunday NFL ticket.
Christmas football. There's more football on now than ever. The Thursday night game, which was introduced maybe a few years ago, has now become a prominent piece of every single week. They've got better games now. You know, the Sunday.
Justin Reed just kicked off the ball for the Chiefs.
Oh man.
Justin Reed is the corner. I think he's the safety.
They don't have any kickers, dude. They're in trouble.
Yeah, they definitely are here. You want to talk about the Jets? I know you.
Yeah. So the Jets decide to show up as if they were going to win the game. They were all gung ho, ready to get it done, playing their best. Davante Adams probably had one of the best games of his entire season with the Jets, and then they proceeded to duck that thing off at the very end. Now, they had the game tied at 26-26. A valiant effort by the Miami to make a strong push. And the Dolphins got the ball first in overtime, and they never looked back. They went all the way down the field, scored a touchdown, went to the tight end. TD, game over, season over for the Jets.
The Jets have officially been eliminated from the playoffs here.
And this is it. This is the end of it. A really good game. This is probably the best game they've had. I won't maybe not. Yeah, I would say it's pretty close. Aaron Rodgers threw for 340 yards, a TD. You got 114 yards receiving from Garrett Wilson, 109 from Davante Adams. So offensively, they got a lot of things going, but because
didn't result in a victory though, losers.
That's right, they're losers. Sorry. So season over. Bye.
All right, so let's put a cap on them. Does Aaron Rodgers officially sit this out, and do the Jets even think about bringing him back next year?
There has to be a serious discussion about what the heck this franchise is doing. Let's not forget that they fired their head coach. They fired their GM too.
Yeah.
They have to really go back to the drawing board here and figure out what they want to do, because in my opinion, after losing these folks, I don't see how you run that back.
How about this? Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders, and he brings Davante Adams back with him.
No, he's not going to do that, man. That's not happening.
That would be such a full circle moment for that organization.
The Jets would be dumb to trade him back after giving something up for him. It doesn't even make any sense, man. But
that would be great.
Aaron Rodgers needs to retire, man. I'm hoping he announces his retirement at some point, because what we're looking at now, I mean, he still has, he's got some strength left in his arm, but I just don't. This experiment is a lot like the Brooklyn Nets. Like it ended quickly and badly, and so I just don't see it being a lot better. Maybe they get a new head coach, maybe they get a new GM, but will that new GM want to continue with this process? Or if you're a new GM, don't you want to come in and put your own stamp on the game and just reinvent the Jets? Because let's not forget, the Jets have not seen a Super Bowl since Joe Namath, and they haven't been in the playoff for.
They're not getting any closer. They're not getting any closer with this roster. Tell you,
no, they're not. No, they are not. This is a dumpster fire. The only one that is worser than the Niners is the Jets, even though they won one more game.
We should coin some T-shirts. It says B&T Sportstalk, and on the backs of it says either dumpster fire or dog water, because that's the two terms we describe a lot of teams. Is either dog water or dumpster fires.
Yeah, that's because that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. On
Absolutely.
the other side, the Dolphins have made some strides. However, it is going to be a tough sledding. It's going to be a little bit of a tough sledding for them to get in the playoffs. They're going to need a little help from some other teams, but they have an outside chance, man. They have a good game for Tyreek Hill today. He's back into getting in the middle of things. How do you feel about Miami going forward and the situation with Tua? Do you think that they continue to push forward through this? This has been a few years where Tua is a great talent. Don't get me wrong, but he's had a concussion almost every single year, and they haven't been, one offs. They've been pretty rough, to the point to where every time he goes out, the first question is like, will he even come back? So I'm really curious what you think Miami will do.
I think you see the value into it to this team.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because since he's been back, he's the reason why they're relevant. Tyreek Hill got a little bit of a boost today. Finally scored a touchdown. God knows how long.
Yeah.
As a fantasy owner, it's been very frustrating to have him on the team. But you can see what offense they're able to run with him here. I think they go forward with him. You just have to, man. You can't run the risk of not losing him and going backwards here, because we've seen backup quarterbacks in there for him, and it's just not been the same.
No.
That offense doesn't move the same. So I think, look, if they could get in, that'd be great. It'd be a great turnaround here. Who would have thought you could win comeback player of the year the same year you get concussed for 4 games? Who would have thought that would have been the case? But it could easily happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they had this team all year, I think they're competing with Buffalo for a chance in for the division. But it just turned out that they had a stroke of bad luck, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of teams. Yeah, the injury bug was pretty prominent this year, for sure.
Can we say rest in peace to some of the teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs? I'm a round them out here. You ready?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Imagine you're hearing the Undertaker gong in the background, dong, and then this is the end.
Hunger Games. When a tribute passes away and it's just a firework.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's how we do. First team, New York Jets.
The Jets are done. Their franchise is in shambles. They got to figure out what's going on. But yeah, they're out of here.
The rebuilding New England Patriots have been eliminated from the playoffs.
I think we all knew this was going to happen, but they're a team that has more upside than downside, so I'm not too mad at that.
Here's a team who's going to have a lot of upside, and I think they need to ride with their quarterback. Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns have been eliminated from the playoffs.
This team is a huge question mark, and a lot of that has to do with Deshaun Watson and what the Browns decide to do with him.
Yeah.
I would insist that they move forward without him and trade him. I don't know if Jameis Winston is necessarily the answer, but I think he should be kept in camp to compete against whoever they decide to bring in. And the Browns do have some offensive weapons, and I think they can be a meddling 500 team next year, which would be improvement.
I think they go with Jameis Winston. He has sparked a lot of confidence into that team because they were playing well. He's also throwing the ball too many times to the other team,
he is.
I think that's something that you can get past with him there. The Jacksonville Jaguars have been eliminated from the postseason.
This one's tough. I mean, obviously,
wasn't expecting that early.
Yeah, you're not at all, especially in the division that they play in. They obviously have a lot of faith in their quarterback. They just paid him. Didn't work out this season. Head coach is gone or will be gone. They gotta get some new blood in there at the head coach, at the offensive and defensive. They need to overhaul that whole coaching thing. This is a team that does have talent, but unfortunately, they've either just kind of lost the ear. The coach has kind of lost their ear or something. But they are no longer a contending team, so we'll see what they do.
Tennessee Titans have been eliminated from the postseason. That we all knew that. And then the latest team to be eliminated from the playoffs, your Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders came in with some high hopes based off of what happened at the end of last season with Aiden O'Connell, but they made a couple of poor decisions and then had the Devontae
Here's
Adams trade. So
here's what blows my mind about the NFC, and I'm really trying to figure this out. Only one team so far has been eliminated from the playoffs in the NFC, and that is the New York Giants. Let me list off a group of teams here in last place that have not been eliminated yet. You ready?
yeah.
Chicago Bears are 4-9 now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not eliminated. The freaking Carolina Panthers are 3-10, and they are not eliminated yet. What am I missing something that the NFL just forgot to tell us that why these teams are even still in playoff contention right now?
Well, I mean, the deal is, and this is with the NFC overall, NFC teams are just, there's a lot of good teams. And I think that's where you're really running into some some teams that aren't quite eliminated because the top is not as heavy. I mean, when you look at it, you got the Eagles, the Commanders, the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, the Bucks, even the Falcons. And then if you go into the NFC West, you have all four teams in contention for that division.
For that. And then Papa J says Raiders, Tombstone. Jags, that sucks for them. Tombstone. I'm surprised the NFC West division as a whole hasn't been eliminated. We all suck. Well, someone's got to win that division. So and it looks like it's going to be Seattle that ends up doing it.
Maybe.
The Tua going to have to talk to Steve Young about concussions. Dude might need to retire. Remember, Steve Young dealt with a lot of concussions too. Still turned it around for a really good career here. And then they're not eliminated because the NFC West sucks. Holy shnikes. Breaking news, everybody. Here it comes. This is, Taj, unfortunately, this is on the baseball side of things here, but this is very big news. Juan Soto signed a 15-year, $765 million contract to play with the New York Mets. Holy crap!
And you're mad about the Brock Purdy? Come on.
Well, look, baseball contracts are out of control. For God's sakes, Bobby Bonilla was being paid, and he's been retired for the last 30 years, to say the least. He's been making 1 point something million from the Pittsburgh Pirates for the longest time.
Yeah.
But $765 million over 15 years for Juan Soto. They're probably going to defer it like they did with Shohei, because I can't wait to see the breakdown of this contract. Let me see
it's ridiculous. Just use your Where's my calculator? How much was it? 760?
765 over 15
765
years.
Divided by 15 that's 51 mil a year. So it's not crazy because of the amount of years. Like if you compare this to an NBA contract, it's the top of the NBA. If you compare it to an NFL contract, it's not quite as high as the highest paid quarterback, which we just talked about. So it's somewhere in the middle.
This is crazy, man.
But 15 years? Why are the contracts so long? Who the hell wants to play somewhere for 15 years? We barely stay on jobs that long.
I know, right? I've bounced around jobs every 5 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm still getting paid the same. That's the worst part. Let's see how old Juan Soto is. Let's see. I think he's in his early 20s. Dude, he's only 26, so the contract
makes sense.
They get him until he's 40. You obviously can put him in a DH role at some point. This is a massive, dude. I can't believe that this happened on our show. I'm touched.
Who is going to be the first $1 billion athlete? First $1 billion contract?
Shohei, or no, it can't be Shohei because he already signed his.
Yeah, he already signed his,
I can't believe I'm going to say this. First, I think it's going to be in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama. He will be the first.
You think so?
He will be the first $1 billion player.
Really? Okay.
Because the NBA just signed new contract deals for their TV. And so those are upwards in the billions, and that's going to generate revenue for a lot of the teams here. And a team like the Spurs who's going to benefit off of that, 100%.
If he lives up to the billing, there's a good chance. I think the biggest contract we had was the Jason Tatum contract was one.
Jaylen Brown was right.
Jaylen Brown was right there. Yeah, so they're getting close, but. Man, $1 billion, man. I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there. I mean, for goodness sake, I believe who is it? Man, who am I thinking of? With the Milwaukee Bucks, Dame Lillard, he's still on the bitter end of his contract, which I think tops out at the end at about $65 million a year. So there's some big contracts still lingering out there. They ain't even been paid out yet. You know what I
Curry's
mean?
making 65 million
Yes.
next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. So it's the NBA is crazy too, man. When it comes
Oh,
to that.
soccer! Yeah, soccer players have broken into the
Oh,
billions,
they're
but that's it's not compared to
they're
the U.S.
it's not
dollars though.
because they're a worldwide sport. They make
Yeah,
way more money than any of the teams that any of what our USA teams do. They are that's why the NFL is throwing games all over Europe for no good for money.
yeah.
They're sending any team they can for a dog and pony show in Germany, San Paulo this past year, wherever, so that they can get more eyes on the NFL.
And then Papa J, this is a crazy bleeping contract. I would love to say it, but I ain't trying to get us kicked off here. But you
Yeah, go
read
ahead.
it. I like it. And then makes Brock Purdy's contract seem like pennies to the dollar.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
going
saying.
to.
That's what I'm saying. Pay the man.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Pay him.
700. We don't know if it's guaranteed or not. We just know all we know is that that's the contract. We don't know kind of if there's any deferred money, if what is it. But baseball is all guaranteed. That's the one thing we do know is generally baseball contracts are all guaranteed money. Damn, man, 765 million, and we broke it here.
That's
Yes,
right. That's right.
yeah.
That's crazy,
Well,
man.
no doubt that's exactly why
I'm, I'm
they're
gonna I'm
hitting
gonna
up.
put my 8-year-old in baseball tomorrow.
You might as well, or soccer, and let them go
Yeah, I
play
guess you're right.
overseas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess I gotta go have a kid now. What do I want him to play?
My retirement plan is you, buddy.
Yep. I'm gonna just be like, hey, man, you a doctor.
Like,
Your plans of being a doctor are not going to be it. We're going to go out there and play some sports.
doctors don't make crap. You need to be.
I know.
You play baseball, buddy. That's where the money's at.
Apparently, we got a little time for NBA. I guess.
Yeah,
we do.
yeah. Let's do it. So I'll start off. As we all know, man, I love my Lakers, but gosh, they are absolutely awful. They got busted down by 41 points against the Miami Heat earlier in the week. Then they turn around and they barely beat the Utah Jazz. And then the last game they lose by who is they lost by 2 points to or a point or 2 points to the Atlanta Hawks.
Lost a lot.
And they at one point had a 10-point lead and they gave that up. LeBron and AD had almost 40 points apiece. It's really starting to look like this team is not picking up anything that JJ Redick is putting down. They started off the season running a offense. Now they've gone back to the tried and true stare at LeBron, LeBron AD pick and roll, and nobody else moves. They're very stagnant offensively, and they're a team that shows no grit at all. They take one punch and they give up. And I don't like the optics of it. They do have some injuries right now. Austin Reeves is out. But the teams that we're playing, come on, the Atlanta Hawks,
You can't be losing to the
Utah,
Hawks,
Utah Jazz. We lost on the last second shot by, Orlando, who was missing most of their team. We lost to Franz Wagner with his last second shot that beat us. It's been an absolute dumpster fire. I'm tired of this team. It's getting on my nerves. And dude, I don't know what to say. I thought offensively they were going to do something different. And they end up going back to the Darvingham offense where they're just standing around and shooting threes.
I love this so much,
Yeah,
but
I know you do. Whatever.
damn, they're just wasting LeBron's age away with this bad play here. To be honest with you, but hey man, y'all deserve that. So
What do we do to deserve that? We didn't do anything, you.
So, we talked about it after 20 games. We're a quarter of the way into the season. So
Yes.
we do know what our team is starting to round out to be. And you guys look like you guys might even make the play-in tournament because the Spurs are right behind you right now as far as that goes. They're sitting a game out, and who would have thought? The Warriors, on the other hand, I don't know what in the hell is going on with them. Like, this was night and day. But I think the bigger news, and I just want to talk about it, is they're going to entertain the thought of Draymond coming off the bench and Kuminga being the starter. I
don't know about that one.
I don't know about
man.
all that.
I mean,
get it.
Kuminga's played well, but unless they're just trying to set him up to trade him, I really don't know.
That could be the thing too. Look, defense is it's a gold mine here because it's not really played in the NBA. And Draymond still plays at a high level when it comes to defense. I'm not ready to give that up just yet on the bench. Kuminga is playing well. I'm not going to take that away. He is starting to show his full potential. No, it's just hard to see that. I think they may use him as trade bait and let him start, let him get everything in. Oh, hold on. More breaking news on the
What?
Juan Soto contract here. It is a get no. The deal includes no deferred money. Sources said that his escalators that can reach up to above $800 million.
Oh my gosh!
Holy shnikes! That'll make you cuss real quickly.
Wow.
But
Hope it's
anyways,
worth
as we were
it.
distracted yet again with the contract, um, which McCall, I just think that the Warriors just need to stick with their guns here. The team is playing fine. They got to find a way to get to hold these leads.
Yeah.
I just can't. And what I'm not liking is the inconsistency that they're giving Moses Moody. Moses Moody is also playing really well, and then they bench him at the worst time possible. He gets on these spurts, and then they cool him down. They let him sit. It drives me nuts, man. I like him and Andrew Wiggins paired together. I think that's a great tandem as a 1-2
Yeah.
for Steph Curry. And Andrew Wiggins, we can't talk about the fact that he's been playing out of his mind when it comes to this season. He has had a great start here to the season, so I'm liking it. I'm liking it in every single way right now.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I wouldn't. Draymond and Kuminga don't play the same position. They don't play the same. So,
No,
I mean, unless the Warriors are looking to just go full throttle offense, offensive start at five, which I could see that. The problem is you still got to play defense. And I talked about with the Lakers, like our team has zero grit. Okay, there's nobody on our team that can go and walk up to LeBron James and say, "Hey, man, get your S together." There's nobody. We don't have
yeah,
anybody. And that's what the Warriors have in Draymond Green. Draymond could go to any player on that team and say, "Hey man, come on. What is this? We got to do better than this." We don't have any of that. We just got a bunch of guys looking around hanging their head every time they miss a shot and stop playing defense. So,
and I mean, I guess the good thing is the Warriors are still in outside of the play where they're above the playing tournament.
yeah.
So right, kind of where I had them.
Yeah.
Um, they had a really tough stretch of games. They get Minnesota on a back-to-back. They played OKC. It's just, is this team? I think this team could possibly be a team that avoids the playing tournament if they
Yeah.
get it together. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing is what they're going to do at the trade deadline, because that's going to be a really big factor here. What Mike Dunleavy's going to do to bolster this team? They need a number two badly. Not saying that Andrew Wiggins isn't, but they need somebody of a superstar caliber to really offset Steph Curry here,
Yeah.
which is going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, so in a bizarre world,
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
yeah, right, exactly. Well, if y'all taking him, can we have Dame Lillard then at that point? Because if Milwaukee gives up on Giannis, then at that point they're saying they're rebuilding because that they drafted that guy. They drafted him.
And then let's get caught up in the chat. Papa J says my Lakers are sucking. They've been getting worse ever since Bronny just left.
Right?
Left, just
it's
saying.
so weird.
Bad juju having him.
When Bronny was there, they were doing very well. I think they ought to make Bronny the new mascot. Put him on the bench.
Lakers don't have a mascot.
Exactly. Stack him with Gatorades. You know what I mean? Put some Gatorades in his hands, in his lap. Have him sit next to his dad
on the bench and at least just see if there's that juju changes.
Yeah, he'll be LeBron's assistant coach. You know what I mean? We'll have him there. Hey, Dad, it's gonna be okay. I don't know, something. we need something because right now I gotta look at the games because both our teams are actually playing right now. The Warriors are in a tight game against the Timberwolves at home. And the Lakers are up by 8 on the Trailblazers. Okay, well, if we don't beat the Trailblazers, we super suck. Yeah, we're trading LeBron after this game. If they, you know what I mean? That's trash. Yeah, man. So
93-91. It's a really good game. I like it so far. But I think that's it for what we've got.
As the Hawaiian ambulance comes for B to save him, we're gonna go ahead. Go ahead. Touchdown.
Quentin Johnson standing over them. Dude, you dropped too many balls to act like that.
Hey, man, this is a huge comeback game for him. That last game was so bad. I was like, this guy needs to do something else.
Chargers can go up 1 with a field goal, and then let's see what happens after that.
Here we go. All right, you guys. All right. Well, I think that that does it for us. That was a nice, neat show. Papa J always keeping us going. We broke some big news on the show today.
That's crazy.
Giant MLB contract with what's the guy's name?
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. That was easy enough. And we're going to continue to monitor our NBA teams because they're both playing. So I'm going to be watching a little bit of that and a little bit of this KC game because I said it whenever we had our pick'em dummies. I think this is the game KC might lose, man. They've been able to skate on these 1-2 point games.
Yep.
We'll see if they can do it again because that's what it's coming down to.
Let's see what happens here.
All right, so until next time, we will see y'all Friday night for Pick'em Dummies. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, Christmas, and more. So stay tuned in to us. We appreciate y'all, and please like the video.